We are
We're live.
live again on the second day of our 3-day workshop series. Welcome, Sherin. Welcome,
Welcome.
everyone who is coming
Yes.
to be
This
together
is,
with us to weave the golden threads of genius together.
yes. And hopefully, as we start talking about things, people will start to be connecting to their own genius thread and starting some resonances to be able to create for themselves. And I think already we've had a few people talking about things that they became aware of. I think it was Suzanne, was it, who was talking about, that nature came up for her as the thing that she really wanted to address or pay attention to. So that was very useful information. And
Yeah,
I'm
what
always
a
amazed.
beautiful spider she sent as well.
Oh yeah, it was
Like,
amazing.
like outside of the orb. I really like the wording that you used as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
beautiful.
don't remember the name. I think it's like Chez Nous or something like that from France.
Yeah.
Pardon me if I pronounce your name wrongly, but thank you for sharing your metaphor of the wealth emerging and focusing on nature, what emerged for you, and the spider. This is what brings it all alive and brings it into the space, and this is what we are trying to do with those
Yes. Well, I can't see
workshops.
anybody else on except you and I.
Well,
But
it's
they'll
just
come.
started. There's 1 minute.
Yes, 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 yes. And it's very exciting. Oh, so, and I think that, we've been talking yesterday about our story, but I really love that, things just emerge. Things come up as we start talking. And I think each and every one of us are mediums in a way. We all channel the moment we go into our highest intention. So, yes, I'm curious as to what's going to unfold as everybody listens and resonates and we talk. And Severine is here. She's watching with us. Hello, Severine.
And I'm just replying to another woman, Urja. I know her. She's looking for Zoom link, and I'm just writing to her that we will be in a Zoom tomorrow.
Right.
But
Yeah.
just
And you're sending her
live here.
the Facebook link. Yeah. So that is good. That is so good.
Severine, not Suzanne. Sorry for
Severine.
we got
Severine.
our
Yeah.
name wrong earlier.
I know we were not quite right because we weren't on. And Anu's here. Anu's here too. Hello, Anu. So nice to see you. I have my little phone next to
Hi,
me.
Anu.
I won't be able to see anything going on unless I actually have the phone. So that's good.
Yes, the
So
same
yes.
here. I also try to do it. It's like with the comments and everything. It's the best way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Anu, how things with you? Have you come up with a metaphor for your wealth metaphor at all? I know Severine had a wealth metaphor yesterday. Um, she had so many, but she kind of was able to narrow down to one in a sense of what would be the most compelling right now. So what might be for you the most compelling or the most that you desire or wish? That would be there. And Urja is also here. So that's nice. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Urja. Hi, Anu. Thank you for joining us live.
Oh, and here's France from Canada. Hello.
Wow, cool. I
I
just
know,
love it.
I
It's
know.
so exciting when I literally feel in the field so many different threads from many different parts of the world. I know Urja is from the Netherlands. We have got Anu. Where's Anu calling in? From India?
No, Anu's in Barcelona. Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's on your time.
Okay.
Yeah, in Germany. Yeah, yeah,
The same like Severine from France is also the same time.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I think we can open the space, the container, like yesterday, and
All right, can I just, before
other
we do
people
that,
can coming in.
can I just do that? Because Uja said she thought that she was on Zoom, and it's just to let her know that tomorrow is a Zoom day because tomorrow is the masterclass. So
Yes.
yeah, we just started. Urja, in Amsterdam. Yes, you mentioned that. Thank you. Much love back to you. Okay, you've lit the candle?
No, I'm going to do it now. And since
Oh,
I
wonderful.
posted the prayer today in the morning, I feel like it's so fitting whilst I'm lighting the candle now, like not like yesterday, I already pre-lit it, while saying this prayer for the world. I think this is much nicer.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful idea.
So may all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings remain free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings remain connected to sacred joy and happiness that is totally free from sorrow. May all beings come to rest in feeling of security and peace. May all beings be happy, content, and fulfilled. And so it is. Blessed be.
And blessed be. So, and you want to do the rune?
The rune and the card and the
Yes, please.
goddess Berigini symbol, which is so fitting to our weaving and talking about the destiny goddesses today. Wow. Blue, beautiful. The seer. Severin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
here there are the intertwined threads. Like after you posted the spider, I said like, wow, I can see all these eyes of the spider.
I know.
And here we are, the seer.
Oh, wow. Wow. Isn't that beautiful?
I just love, these are not coincidences. This is what I call like the weird synchrodestiny. The threads becoming visible, what bring us together in this space. So thank you for being with us this year. Next, I will draw a Berigini symbol. Berigini in Russian is goddess. From my womb pouch. I see it as a womb. The same like the little wombs. Oh, this one is the Berigini of the teacher. But to be sure. Yes, that's the teacher. Bringing us consciousness.
That's good.
And the
Consciousness.
affirmation is I receive wisdom and knowledge from the divine world. And we can use the symbol to help while learning or when there are learning difficulties, and to recognize illusions. Beautiful bird teacher.
Yes.
Welcome.
Very nice.
If you're interested in those symbolism, I've got actually a free ebook of all the 27 Biriginis and their symbols. So you can get in touch with me. I can let you know
Well,
about it.
put the link in the chat anyway. I mean, I think do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
the
just looking at,
runes.
so do your rune and then I just want to go through a little bit of what some people are saying and we can have a look.
Okay.
You want to do the rune first?
Yes, just to open the container and then we can go to the comments.
I can't see that.
This is, I'm not.
Oh, now I can see it.
Algae, which looks like the feet of the crow, of the swan.
Okay, just keep it out there, like that. Yeah.
Algae. It's also like the shaman with open arms, receiving,
Yes.
like what the teacher, the bird teacher, brings us from above. We're opening ourselves up to receive divine wisdom. And again, so fitting for inviting the goddesses today.
Yes. Yes, that is beautiful. And yes, the receiving of the logos, of the divine, of the consciousness of something new. Is there anything more about that particular one?
About this rune, Algis?
Yeah.
Well, it primarily stands for receiving the knowledge from the divine. It brings the divine knowledge. If it's reversed, then then we would have, then it's a blockage. I also work with the rune wheel where we look at the counterbalancing energy of a rune, but this was not reversed. So to keep it very short, it really stands for receiving the divine consciousness.
And what a beautiful one for us to have today. It's about we are unblocked, we are open, we are ready to receive.
Yes, we are.
So that is just beautiful. So before we go into the meditation, I just want to just kind of just acknowledge that Anu says wealth for her is joy, giving, and accepting. So those are three that for her is wealth. And if you were to work a little with one of them, what one calls you more, Anu, right now, while we're just going, and maybe while we do the meditation, you can put that into the wealth womb that you'll be creating. There is also Severine talked about the spiders are scary for her, but often a lot are so beautiful and mixed with danger. That's a really interesting thing, that juxtaposition of the duality. And Urja says, wealth for me is no resistance, peace and love in my heart. Enjoy whatever it is and how it is. Wow, that's so powerful.
Delicious. Unconditional love.
And I wonder, exactly. And when there's no resistance, what else? So that's something that is there, which is curious. So, and Jennifer Jarvis, she's new. Hello.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hello. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so what we're just going to do before we go into the goddesses is we're going to, and I know that Anu knows a lot about the goddesses too, but we'll just go into doing a quick meditation just to ground and complete the container. So just if you can breathe nice and gently in and out, just focus your attention. Energy flows where attention goes. So as you breathe in and out, I invite you to just bring your attention all the way down to the area of your hips. And I'll ask that you really focus in on the area that is particularly sort of between the root and the sacral chakra. So where you're sitting is the perineum, if you're sitting straight, and just above that is really where the womb is resting. And that's where all of creation starts to exist, the womb of life. So just allow yourself to just breathe nice and deeply into your womb. And as you focus, just for a moment, allow that energy to expand so that you can hear the song of your womb. Every one of us will have a different song, a uniqueness that is so absolutely unique to ourselves. And if you listen really closely, you'll begin to start hearing it and feeling it, and may even see. And then just expand that out a little bit more. And allow yourself to just drop in even more into that so that we can ground and connect. So this is like the base of the tree. And now we're going to connect the roots And allow this energy to go all the way down through our roots. Down, feel our roots going, gravitating all the way down to the core. And as we get to the core, allow your roots to envelop the core so that it forms like a matrix. And each of us here today, as we come with our higher intention, we each connect to this core. And as our roots entwine with each other, that matrix gets stronger. All the connection and communication is shared between what we receive individually and what we receive as a collective. And just allow your womb to receive that information, all that information that is there. And you might find in a minute, I'm just feeling mine getting really very, very strong as all of you are connecting. And as you do that, we recognize that there are our ancestors, the knowledge of the tree of knowledge has been traveling through our ancestors, and they are here with us to support us on this journey of weaving and finding our destiny thread, our golden thread of genius. And then allow that energy to begin to move back up into your body, back to your womb, and back, and feel it, and you can connect now from womb to womb, up here on the physical. And as that energy rises in it and truly begins to magnify, bring that energy up to your heart so that we can reach each other heart to heart. And let our extensions of ourselves, like the rune that we've experienced today, almost like the shaman, these are our branches that reach out as we begin to receive information from the source, from the divine, and from each other as our branches intertwine. And as they intertwine, we notice that there are other branches that intertwine with those that are not in the circle, but they are part of our lives. So we entwine with them and we just magnify the effect. And as we breathe and hear the hum of each other, the song of each one's thread, we make a pledge here to stay connected. Commit to connecting to your thread as you weave your new destination, your new destiny. It's always been there, but you're seeing it anew. And we just say, thank you, yes, and so it is, so it shall be. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and then just come back.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I don't know about you, but mine is definitely buzzing away over here.
Oh, mine too, big time. I always hear the sound of the weird, the void, which I'm looking forward to speak about. Norse language system.
Oh, I'm excited.
The void, the nothingness, where at the same time everything originates from, and I experiencing like this womb of all existence, the dark matter. Yeah, 98% of all our existence consists of that. Yeah.
It does indeed. And we can't see it because it's kind of like in the space, isn't it? It's in the space.
But we can
it's
sure
not in the
feel it.
And I wonder how, and I just ask all of you over there, if you felt it, if you experienced it, please put those comments in the chat and tell us how it is for you. Did you find that, how's your womb? How's your womb today? So do you want to start with your goddesses? Because I'm so excited
and I
to
mean, we
hear
can
about
read
them.
your comments whilst we go along.
Well, right now there's no comments coming up yet, but I'm ready for when they are. I will say.
Speaking about the weird, I like to read a passage from my book, The Weirding Way, where you already see the three Norns. Mentioned them yesterday as well. And I think this cover picture for me, it's always like an activation. I sometimes like put my hand on it and I feel it's really vibrating. And this is what the Norns bring to us, because just said in Norse mythology that they weave all timelines of the past, present, and future. So they are the great giantess who create everything what we see in this physical universe, in this matter, in the matery of all that is. So it's very, very powerful. So powerful that I actually couldn't help it then just opening myself up like the rune algaes and receive. And that's what I received as transmissions, especially when I'm embroidering. I pass on this wisdom. And I like to read the passage from my book about the Norns, the destiny weavers of all timelines. So how will my book help others? We can pick up our own threads of life and consciously shape and weave our destiny in the worldwide tapestry of life. We will feel connected to our own soul's purpose and with the people and universe all around us. Connected on the human, spiritual, and universal level. Connected to our own soul and the soul of the world. We can live a co-creative life with our own soul and the source. We will learn to get centered, get in touch with our own soul or the thread within, becoming a co-creative vessel through which the spirit expresses itself, called Weirding Way in this book. Weird comes from Old Norse language and means that which has become or woven. The three Norns in Norse mythology, Urt for the past, Verdanti present, and Skuld future, weave the destiny of all. But when we center ourselves and pick up our unique destiny thread and connect with the web of weird, which is the source, unconditional love for the 0-point energy field, or the quantum field, or womb of all existence, like I perceive it, then we ourselves become destiny weavers, just like the three Norns, and can consciously weave our own destiny. I'm curious, like when you ask me that you could certainly feel something in the womb, I did as well. And this is for me always a sign that this is where the weird lies, where I can really perceive throughout my whole body that something is breathing me and vibrating me. And this is like my embodied experience of my womb wisdom or of the weirding wisdom. Just a bit more. So why does the world need my story? Because most people feel disconnected and uprooted from their soul, their own roots, their own true nature. As a result, people also cannot relate to the bigger challenges like the pandemic, climate change, immigration, political upheavals, now the racial wars, and so many other social and political challenges that we face today. But the change starts within, with picking up of our own unique destiny thread, our soul purpose, our unique calling or vocational arousal. That way, the revolution, the air is in blankets, it's the evolution starts inside. When everyone becomes a conscious destiny creator or weaver, then all different challenges from the outside will evolve at the same time, most naturally from the inside out. In my opinion, the world needs more co-creators. And this book is destined to be part of writing of a new story of co-creative destiny weavers around the world. So I like this. There's a quote by Michael Mead. Call it a dream or the treasure hard to attain. Call it a vocation or the awakening of one's innate genius. Call it what you will. Upon hearing the call, we must follow or else lose the true thread of our lives. So my vision is about holding the thread and weaving our destiny all together in co-creation. Because women have always done something with their hands. And stitching, for example, has a long tradition in many different countries and cultures around the world. In Nordic mythology, these are the three Norns, who are said to be the destiny weavers. They sit by the world tree Yggdrasil and weave the destiny not only of humans, but also of gods, elves, and all other creatures from the physical realm. They gain their wisdom from the Urdbrunnen, that is the well by the roots of the world tree, and by connecting to the void of emptiness, known as the Gnanda gap, the yawning yoni in Hindu tradition. I'm curious whether you heard of it, Anu. And this is comparable to the womb of all existence, or potentiality. I call that weird, which is also the rune of web of life, nothingness, and at the same time all possibilities. This is where I had a big aha moment, because the rune weird, it's nothingness. And the web of weird, this is this symbol here, which contains all 9 dimensions, from which, for example, the runes are made of. These are also the 9 dimensions of the world tree Yggdrasil, or the Bagua in Taoist tradition. The human design speaks of 9 dimensions. The tree in Kabbalah has got 9 dimensions. So it encompasses everything which has been woven in the web of life, or the web of weird. And I love it. It's the same like from the 0, everything originates, and then from 9 it goes back to the original point. And for me, this is like, wow. I mean, yeah, I get then so excited how so many different threads of knowledge, perspective still lead to the same kind of awareness and wisdom. So wouldn't you like to remember and pick up this mysterious art of consciously weaving your own thread of destiny? All over the world, women came together in circles to tell stories, stitch, sing, dance, or practice other handcrafts. Following the Slavic tradition, 7-year-old girls already start to stitch the destiny towels called ruchnik, which I wear here, stitching particular symbols to manifest certain things in their lives. In this tradition, women also stitch particular destinies through symbols for babies, married couples, deceased people, to take in their graves and for certain other important occasions. This is a long and powerful tradition of consciously manifesting destiny. This mysterious art is usually passed on from elders to youngsters in women's circles. As the famous poem by Rainer Maria Rilke illustrates, destiny itself is like a wonderful white tapestry in which every thread is guided by an unspeakably tender hand, placed beside another thread and carried by 100 others. So wouldn't it be wonderful for each of us women to pick up our own unique thread and weave this tapestry of life more consciously together, connected in the big void of emptiness, of pure potentiality, the great womb of all existence. And one last quote. This is like a circle, like I perceive us now here gathering.
Yeah.
And this is how we can change the world, by connecting to our wombs, our destiny thread, coming together and share like we do now. This is for me already part of this co-creative weaving of the new tapestry. Because being known, seen and loved is a kind of medicine. It is a high form of healing for the soul. We all long to belong and be connected in our humanness. Our rootedness in right relationships allows us to blossom into our divinity.
Very profound. Yeah, just let that sink in a little bit. Because every time I hear it, it just takes another layer, goes in another layer. And it's so beautiful to just have it read, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice to have it again. So, yeah. You ready to hear some of the comments?
Yes, if there are some, yes, of course.
Oh, there's loads. There's loads. There's loads. Okay, so I think that Jennifer says we were talking about what was going on, and she said it's a deepening. And Urza said her womb is very, very soft and strength and peace, and felt that. Anu said very wonderful, peace and harmony. And Severine said, I got my womb restored, restoration, which was amazing. That was unexpected, she said.
Wow.
And yeah, Jennifer said it's like a mystery and remembering at the same time, like a different avenue of activation that you just said activation, Erica. So talk about synchronicity.
Yes.
She's already, it's like something's already jumping ahead in time. So that deja vu is really all those photons and electrons moving in time ahead of time, and she's just receiving it. So there you are. Urva said, I lost where it's all about. Clear for me is we are connected and co-creating, which to say I painted a tree with roots and trunks and branches, giving me grounding. Later, I heard your webinar yesterday, which was yours, Erica, and now not so much words are needed. Go in the flow. So that's really beautiful. And
yes,
co-creating with our soul, that's something which is really beautiful, because we are always co-creating with our soul, aren't we? Actually, that is the silent partner. In the Kabbalah and the 72 names, we have, the silent partner, and then we have right next to that, which is the love partner. So they're these two things together, the soulmate, and then you have the silent partner. So it's almost like there are these two sides to things. That seeps into my womb. Obviously something you said that seeped into, and did not get much in my womb, but gained a new awareness of it. Wow, that was what France said. So that is really good. And I think that as you begin to bring attention to that, to your womb, you will start to hear the sound, your frequency, your awareness for that. So that is really beautiful. And I think what is so wonderful is that we were talking yesterday about the animating of things. And for you, the Nomans are alive, aren't they?
Absolutely.
They are alive, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And you live each one of them in different moments, almost like you bring them all together, and as they all come together, something magical happens.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And I think that is something that we forget, which is magic. We forget that we have this ability purely to create magic because we have this ability to even just feel and anticipate that it exists. And I think there is something really beautiful that when we connect with the goddesses, or the gods, we automatically connect with that energy that we literally embody. We embody, they come, and we feel it. We feel it, that it runs right through our essence. And it kind of tingles and tickles our essence on some level.
Absolutely.
Francine says, just interesting, I just noticed that I misspelt wound instead of womb.
We thought so
That's
already.
interesting.
But I thought so already.
Wow, that is, so there's something about that wound which is interesting, or wound, because wound and wound is wound. And when you say I wound, you wind around, a wound, it's a wound around something. So that's interesting too. So
And that's
maybe
where the
there's a double.
wonders come from. From the wounds come the wonders. And
Yeah.
from wholeness comes from the whole. Like,
Yes.
and in German language is also Wunder is wound. And at the same
Mm-hmm.
time it's Wunder, which is wonder. And that's how the light comes in through our cracks and through the wounds. It's all part of one, isn't it?
Yeah. 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 So that's amazing. And yeah, and you particularly really interested in the Norns, and I'm interested and have been connecting to the Indian goddess, and Anu knows a bit about that because she's been doing a lot of my kind of work, which is creating beautiful artwork for me. And Lakshmi just arrived one day, and when I started to really ask about Lakshmi, I realized Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. She's the goddess of wealth and good fortune, fertility, prosperity, but I was amazed when I really started to think she's also the goddess of magic, of being able to co-create in a particular way. And she's also the luxurious and joyous part of the goddess. So all these aspects of the different Lakshmis of which she is part of. And her one thing which I love that we're doing, because she is really much about the goddess that takes us to our goals.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really interesting was that Ganesh came up the other day, and he's the god, and I think was it Anu that talked about it. Ganesh is the overcomer of obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, how amazing, because normally Ganesh is brought up at the beginning of things. So it was interesting that came in. And I know we're talking about goddesses, but what's really, there is about a co-creation that comes with our God and our goddess. That's we're going to talk about during the course over the next few weeks.
And who is to say if there's a male and female anyway with certain details?
Yes,
because a lot of times we give it like a gender, because we in our limited physical bodies, we think in 3D, so we need still this duality.
Exactly.
But from a certain like vibration, for example, I sometimes perceive angels, and angels have got no gender, and from a certain like vibration, I don't feel this difference between genders. So welcome, Ganesh. I don't know whether you're male or female. So yes,
those two, Jennifer says those two come together. But I particularly wanted to connect with Lakshmi because there are sort of, I had this song going on my head, which was, 3 steps to heaven. And I just realized that actually there are 8, 7, Stephen Covey used to talk about 7 habits of highly effective people. But actually, I think there are 8 steps to get to sovereignty. And we know that once you're sovereign, then you're in the 9s. And we're all talking about 9s being a very magical number. So 9 is completion, 9 is the circle. So, it's kind of like the spider, the body and the arms. So there's something about that. And so I thought I'd just say a little bit about Lashmi, who, as I said, she's the god who leads us to our goals, but she's also the wife and the divine energy Shakti of Vishnu, who's one of the Honshu gods, the principal deity in Hinduism. And she's often depicted as a triune. So she's depicted as a Saraswati and also of Parvati and herself. And in the tarot, the number 3 also has these 3 gods revolving around the cup. So, this kind of thing is even moving around in different kind of mythologies all the way around. But she has, and for her kind of attributes, there are 8 Lakshmis, or let's say different aspects of Lakshmi. And one is spiritual enlightenment. One is all to do with food. So eating, grain, those kinds of things. One's with knowledge. So these are all the bits that are there. Resources, which is money. So she's really important with regards to money. Also with progeny, abundance. So an abundance in a sense, and interesting, her name is Gaja, like Gaia. So isn't that interesting that we've got this connection going all the way across lots of different sets of mythologies. Patience and courage is another attribute, and success, being, you sit there and you congratulate yourself and you are in that space. And she emerged from the churning. Listen to this. This really got me. She emerges from the churning of the primordial ocean. So when we think about the wells, the well, they feed in the sense of the word of the wording way, thinking about the water and the wells, and they draw from the well of water. It's almost like they draw from that aspect. Yeah. So she's the water. And
interesting that the Norns are also sitting by the well, Urtbrunnen.
Yeah. Yes.
It's also an endless, well, like an ocean of regeneration, of nourishment, of wisdom, and the water, the word Yggdrasil every day. So this is the link, like, to the flow, isn't it?
Yes.
To the water. And we're all born through the water, and we get, to the womb. We get out of the womb through the waters.
Exactly. Well, what's the importance of womb water? Womb water stops us from being damaged. Womb water keeps us safe in the womb, nice and warm and nourished. Everything that you need is in the womb. Yeah. So for you to safely grow and expand and kick around and do all sorts of things, but that because of that womb water, you're able to do that, which is so beautiful. Yeah. Yes. And I thought you might want to know something, because I know the raven is your bird.
Yes, it's also on my shamanic dress here.
Yes, yes.
Like I spoke about this Berigini energies, which I learned from Slavic women. There are 27 goddesses energies, and 7 of them are like present in our birth. And it's also like a tree. Everything is like a tree. My destiny tower is a tree, like the dress is a tree, like with 3 Beriginis at the bottom for the roots. And the raven, yes, you mentioned, is my main goddess power, of the wise one.
I was quite interested because basically often she's sitting on a lotus flower, but she has an owl as her vehicle, which is interesting. And this symbolizes economic activity and maintenance of life. So I thought that was e-commerce, economic, and E is energy, commerce, and I love words. So all about community, because com is to bring together, isn't it? So you've got these words, bringing together of energy in order to create the maintenance of life. And I thought that was beautiful. And her ability is to move and to prevail in confusing darkness. So to be able to move through. So I thought that was something that's really beautiful. And I can see why she came. And I can see how she dovetails so beautifully with what we're creating. And beautiful. How it can all work really, really well together, because it doesn't matter where we are and what we're doing. They weave, interlink in very.
And she has got 8 arms, hasn't she? And in all of the 8 arms she brings something else, and it's again the same symbol as like of the eights, like in the rune wheel, for example, there are 8 dimensions and the center. Yeah, and here's the Lakshmi, she's the center, but she carries like 8 dimensions.
Yes.
And we talked constantly like the last few days about the 8s, like standing also for like the rune daggers. Since we love our symbolism in our goldwork embroidery, this has been our foundation. This is the rune daggers. It's probably not so visible here, but the daggers is like a sunglasses. Like it really looks like to 8. The daggers, and it's like the sunglasses of transformation, and it's also the balance between day and night. So here we have the harmony again, isn't it, of the 8?
Yes, and the infinity, and the infinities, isn't it? So the 8 is infinity, and it's always going from in and out. So you're moving, and you're always coming back to a pivotal point. So you go from convergence into expansion, convergence into expansion, convergence into expansion. And I mean, that's really what we're doing all the time. We're converging and expanding. We meet together, and we expand. I was just looking at some of the comments because there's some
me too,
comments.
because I would
so maybe
like
we just kind of go through the comments very quickly.
Yes. So Anu was saying co-creating with our soul, love that. Jennifer was saying that that seeps into her womb.
Into a womb, yeah.
Franz writes, did not get much in my wound, but get a new awareness of it. Interesting, just noticed that I spelled wound instead of womb. We had that earlier on as well.
Yeah.
Urja is writing, angel guides, inner intuition, weaving from soul happens. If you open your heart for that realizations, where the magic is, as how it is.
Exactly.
Yes. Being present exactly in the moment. Jennifer writes, in my personal experience, these two always come in together. That's amazing, Shireen. I suppose you're referring to the co-creation of soul and source, which always happens together.
Well, we've got Claudia who's just come in, which is really lovely. Hello, Claudia.
Hi, Claudia.
Nice to see you. I love it. Urja says, without water, there isn't life. Lakshmi is very transformative goddess. Absolutely. And so are all the goddesses, anything that has to do with water, because the moment we give water to something, it starts, as long as it's not too much water, as long as we give water and we don't waterlog it, we will be able to transform. Go to the light. Listening to your beautiful story, I feel we're all part of one of the universe. In Sanskrit, it's called Vasudeva Kutumabakam. Whoops. Sorry, I know I cannot say that. Kutumbaka. Is that it? Kutumbakam? We all have a common story wherever we are on earth. Yes, and Erica, we're having that discussion today where we were talking about the idea that there is something that some neuroscientists would say is that we're all born with very similar brain structure. So we have, we have our frontal lobes in the front, and we have our parietal lobes, and we have everything is still in the same way, and our neural networks are similar. And therefore we would have very similar kinds of experiences. But that allows us to be able to join with other people's experiences. That allows us to connect deeply with other people's experiences. And it allows us to see people, it's to truly see them because we see ourselves. We see them because we see ourselves. We see the truth of who they are because they are us.
Here
Yeah.
we go. There's the Dagash again. Dagashun.
Dagash,
While
Dagash
looking for
again.
the sign classes of transformation, we see the others. And at
Exactly.
the same time, they're
Exactly.
reflecting back at us. That's why, like, looking for longer time into the eyes of other person is so profound. Then we can really meet the divine of the other person within us. And that's where the
Yes.
namaste comes. My divine is greeting you, divine. And the seer card is greeting as well. That's the true seer.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
true seer
Exactly.
is like going back to animism again, because everything has got a spirit, or it has got a soul, because everything comes from the source of the spirit. So everything is secretly interconnected to the to the source. And for the
And that
ones
led
who
us to another conversation, didn't it, this morning? Because
yes,
last night we were talking, and Erica was saying, you know, everything's changing except my destiny Tao. That doesn't change. And we started having a conversation about that. And we were really kind of curious, how come we can change the destiny dress? And how can we change all of those things they evolve, but the destiny Tao doesn't? And tell them what you told me. What is your destiny Tao for you?
well, and this awareness came from our conversation, isn't it? That's why it's
Yeah,
so beautiful to co-create. So thank you, because otherwise, if it stays just within ourselves, those kind of awareness doesn't come to the surface. We need the other to look into, to be listened to. And then it's just this co-creative weaving from the thoughts or from the reflection, something new arises. Yeah, like you mentioned yesterday, I thought, like, my shamanic dress is like alive. I always keep adding things whilst I go through life, because new things happen all the time. Just most recently, I've added like my rune wheel at the back, and the sun and the moon, and my shamanic animal, the jaguar, the snow leopard. Not the jaguar from Kazakhstan, where I'm from, wants to go on the back. So it's constantly changing. But this Rushnik, the destined Tao, like I learned from Slavic tradition, and like I read out in the book, girls usually with 6-7 years already weave the destiny, because they're so connected with their divine energies weaving through them. So they know the symbols. And it's like they're being gods and looking at through God's eyes and already see the whole life, how it's going to manifest in their life. So that's why we don't add. We're just very conscious how we weave it. We don't cut the thread. It has to go like a wave, and there are no knots. So every single stitch is like a divine meditation. But once it's finished, it's finished. It's not meant to be added. And then we were talking earlier today, like about my embodied metaphor, which I also talked about already, is like living a life like a tree with strong roots, the trunk, which less for me is the womb, and the branches. And we were thinking, like, this is also very grounded and stable. It's not like the trees are moving. And it's like this destined howl is also divided like a tree. It's not moving. And then what happened? I mentioned, but what about the walking trees, the ants from the movie Lord of the Rings? And then something so magical happened, because then you said, like, this is like walking old wisdom, or bringing old wisdom into the now. And then I thought, like, oh my gosh, this is like my destiny tower, which is also a tree carrying this ancestral feminine wisdom from my ancestral background. But by me wearing it now in the moment, and by us
yes,
sharing, listening to each other, coming into circles, this is how it becomes alive in the moment. So it's also traveling. And for me, this is beautiful, kind of energetic
yeah.
awareness.
And that was really interesting, because we were talking, and I was kind of saying, well, you know, humans can locate elsewhere, and trees have to stay in the ground, except if they're ants in the Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And we realized it takes a lot to uproot a tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you get different kinds of trees, and generally the roots will hold the tree in place no matter what. And it was really interesting. The only way a tree can be uprooted is if it's going to be properly done and they're going to watch and take care of it. And even then it won't always take. But what then started going into the co-creation was the idea, because we were talking about mythology and we were talking about all sorts of things. And we realized that the root is all, the tree is in us. So when we moved away, when we had separation, when we had disconnection, we moved out of the Garden of Eden. Do you remember? And once we moved out of the Garden of Eden, we lost connection to our tree. We lost connection to the divine source of wisdom, the tree of knowledge and wisdom. And so it kind of really made me think about that. And so as humans, because we can locate, we have to take our tree with us. And what we did in Eden was we left it there. We forgot the wisdom of our knowing. And that just really was such a profound effect for me. Such a profound effect. Yeah. And it made me realize, oh my God, this is the calling. This is the calling of what we're here for. And that's to help people get back to their tree, to that tree of knowledge, that tree of source. And it is the thread. It's the thread back. And it reminded me of when I went and had a hypnotherapy session. I was very annoyed with the person because I had sent a whole lot of stuff and she didn't even look at it. And she just said, right, what's that feeling? And we went back and I landed in Eden. I landed at the tree of knowledge. And the snake came down. And the snake said to me at the time, said, you know what? They don't want you to know that you're God. They don't want you to know that. That's why you were not told to eat that, because you were not meant to know that. And so when you had it, you realized that you were mortal in a mortal world. And now you had to have the constraints of mortality. I never expected to get that, but it was really interesting. And that's why I kind of am really interested in this idea that we have to connect to our tree of knowledge, our tree of wisdom, our tree of source. And we can take it anywhere we go. It is there for us.
Absolutely. And there's another layer now. Listen to this story, that it's the women who are being told that the wisdom is taken away from them if they eat from the apple, or from the tree of all knowledge. So this is also about reclamation of our birthright of having this wisdom. There is no harm at all to eat the apple. This is the apple of wisdom. But how, like, we have been demonized, as being evil, and as the ones have been seduced, as women to have been eating this apple. So there's also a very important part of the reclamation, I feel, as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
So should we have a look if there are some more questions or sharings?
And did anything resonate for any of you? I know that Anu said, listening to the stories, we are all part one of the universal family in Sanskrit. Oh yes, we talked about the Kutumbakara. But no, there hasn't been any more after that. So I don't know. Hopefully we haven't lost everybody. I hope you're still here.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And what is it that you got from today? Did anything resonate? Did anything come up for you? Was your womb singing to you as you were listening? I know mine's still going. So I'm curious. I mean, you've begun to really listen to your womb talking, and it's a really, I was just practicing for myself, and starting to really pay attention to that. Oh, Jennifer, I'm back. So she went off somewhere.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome. So, okay, did anything resonate for you? Anything that started to get your juices going, that made you think, that would be interesting in that sense? And maybe we tell them about tomorrow a little bit as well. That knowing inside is not outside. Yes. And but it is It's really interesting, isn't it? Because when we see other, when we see ourselves, often we place a judgment on that because we're looking at ourselves from what we perceive another person's view of us is. But invariably, that other person doesn't see us in that same way. So when we start looking at other people as the essence of God or the essence of the divine, the thread of golden genius, then all of a sudden we start seeing ourselves as that. How can we not? Because we're recognizing it.
Mm. Yes. It's like looking at the mirror, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So tomorrow night, we've got the masterclass. So, and that's going to be very different. It's not going to be very much talking. It's going to be lots of action. So we're going to be doing some work, and then hopefully we'll be able to put, well, I don't know whether we'll be able to put you so much into, maybe one or two groups, hopefully, with two people each or three people, depending on who comes on. And we will do a demo, and then we will kind of start connecting to our goddess. We will actually get a goddess, and I think we're going to get a symbol and a message. And
But we're going to do an extended meditation where you will meet your goddess with unique symbols and signs, and then we will run through a few clean language questions, like asking about what kind of wealthy goddess is your wealthy goddess, or if you feel her in your womb, it is like what, to bring alive what started to emerge for you right now, but to get it more embodied into a metaphor. Yeah, and yeah, we will meet not live, but in a Zoom call, which we will send to you tomorrow, and that will go longer. Like we plan for 1.5 hours with some questions and answer Q&A afterwards, and with an invitation to dive deeper with us, to go deeper with us if you like.
Yes, I was just seeing that Anu says that she hadn't thought, she said, reclaiming my divinity, the apple of our eye. Isn't that interesting? Fabulous. I mean, she's amazing anyway. But the third eye, the intuitive eye.
Yeah. How
really
deep?
Interesting.
How deep is that?
I know. Oh my God, we're going to go down a wormhole.
Well, I like that. As deep as possible. That's why I like the weird well. The weird. It's kind of go as deep as we like it to go.
So Urja says, thanks. We're already connected to our goddess and good to do. Great. Thank you for this moment. Love, love, love. Thank you.
Thank
and
you,
and Jennifer says, the timeless strength of a ruined symbology. And I see that in the talking of the destiny tell. The other perspective of law, practices and medicine through Erica's shares make me feel there is a wealth of information and learning in that. Oh God, there's more than that. And I think, as you were saying the other day, it's the tip.
The tip of the tipping point.
The tip of the tipping point. Yes. Yes. So that is magnificent. The tip of the tipping point. Yes.
That was actually the saying of Barbara Max Hubbard. She used to be a mentor, a great futuralist, and was actually always appearing to me like the Norn of the future. So she passed over last year in April, just 2 days after my birthday, with 89 years old. And she used to say, like, this crisis is a rebirth, and we, each one of us, we are the tip of the tipping point. And every time when I embroider, I mean, this is a handcraft with a needle. And if we speak about sacred embroidery, when we are really connected, with our soul and the source or the divine deities who are weaving through us, then we're literally creating the tapestry of life with the needle, with the tip of the tipping point. And that's why it makes so much sense to me that in this moment, we are really co-creating the new. We are this tip. Where she was saying, like, when enough people, like about 10% of the whole population, come from that then we are going to have this revolution and evolution. The
Yeah,
revolution
you
with
need
the
enough
air.
to get critical mass. Yeah,
Yes.
yes. Once you've got critical mass, then you do a shift, a massive shift.
Yes.
Because right now we can't see the little effects. We can only surmise that they're happening.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get, it's like the 100 monkey syndrome, isn't it? That all of a sudden something shifts and a state of consciousness starts to happen. Even if it's miles apart, there's this shift in consciousness that occurs. So,
Which, of course, as it occurs on a higher dimensions, is in 5D or even higher Ds, which we cannot even put in a logical perspective. If it happens instantly. And that's why she said it can happen in a moment that this billion movement happens. It's just in one moment, enough people gather together and send out this highest thoughts,
frequency.
highest frequencies, or like when we join our threads, our golden threads, which are our geniuses of highest vibrations, higher selves. If enough people are going to come together, then it can happen instantly.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a switch. It'll be like that switch, which I was talking about. Yeah, because it's that cumulative effect that that transpires. You form almost like a tidal wave, and in the brain you get what we call neuronal bumps that then start as they grow together. You get an idea, an insight. You get an illumination. You get all of these things. So these are these things that happen, and it's like one big tidal wave that joins together, and it creates this magnified effect. Yeah.
Bing bang.
Bang
That's
bang.
what it is. Bing bang. This is what happens. We're birthing the universe, the earth, starting with the earth, universes. That's how everything gets born. It's like in the seed, when the seed cracks, all the energies of the universes are in this seed, which is being released. That's why the tip of the tipping point, all the energies of the universe are accumulated on this tip. And that's where we really are aware about our powers, how powerful we are. If we are coming from our essence, from this higher self.
Yeah. And we're coming from our clear essence. We know it. We feel it. We are it. Yes. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, everybody. We are really, really looking forward tomorrow. And please bring like some felt if there is going to be some time after our meditation, receiving this symbolism or embodied metaphor. We will invite you to bring this divine wisdom which we will receive into manifested form. Maybe you feel like starting to embroider a matryoshka, which is an embodied form of your wealthy goddess. And then you don't need much material. I use like a bit of felt and and the golden thread is from the womb, like we are birthing the new from our essence. So that's why I think weaving with the golden thread is most profound. So I hope you were going to join us tomorrow.
Thank you. Hopefully, namaste. Lovely to see you, Ujda. Hopefully that you'll be here. Anu, I'm sure that you will. I hope that Jennifer and Severine will be here. I haven't seen Severine, so maybe whatever's moved off, but it'll be lovely to see you all again tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll be doing some deeper work tomorrow. Yeah. Very good.
Thank you.
So take care, and thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you for those lovely insights, Anu, and everyone else. You've really opened our eyes to certain things, which, it's lovely because co-creation is what we're bringing together. And hopefully, as we co-create together, we will each enrich each other even more.
And now, for example, something comes to me, Anu, when you said the apple of the eye, I just recently seen a picture. It's like an eye, like an A, and an I. It's like looking like this. It's in the V moon calendar.
Yeah.
It's like the all-seeing eye. It's written
Yes.
like an I-W-E. And there we go. The apple of the eye, the all-seeing eye, and the seer.
All connected. All
Yes.
connected.
I
Never
just love
alone.
it. I love it.
Yes. So Jennifer says she'll be here tomorrow. Lovely.
Yes,
Thank you. We'll see you
Jennifer.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Lots of love and blessings. Blagadaru
Yes.
in Russian.
Take care. Namaste.